Today, we are diving into a powerful parable about a crisis of faith and, the really difficult road to finding truth. It's a story about two men, both of them lost in their own kind of silence, and the very strange intervention that forces them to find meaning, not up in the heavens, but in a small stone cell. This single line, it's the key to the whole thing. It sets up this perfect mirror. You have a knight whose search for God is this loud, agonizing external quest. And then you have a priest, locked in a deep internal silence. On the surface, they seem like complete opposites, right? But really, they're just two sides of the exact same crisis, walking toward the same empty horizon. And this just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you've got the knight. His search is this loud, clanking affair, hiding in armor to protect himself from a world he just doesn't get anymore. And on the other side, the high priest, wrapped up in the robes of a crumbling institution, totally trapped in his own silence. The thing is, they're both caught in what the story calls a cycle of mutual delusion, just going through the motions, performing these social rituals without an ounce of real belief. So let's take a closer look at the problem they represent, because it's not just a personal crisis. It goes much, much deeper. It's institutional. I love this phrase, muscle memory of faith. Isn't that brilliant? Both the knight and the priest are just going through the motions. Their actions are all about habit, not actual belief. And this shared, hollow performance is exactly why a third figure, the jester, has picked them for a reckoning. He sees that the only way to break this cycle is to force these two mirror images to finally look at each other. Now, the jester's choice here, it isn't random. It's actually deeply philosophical, and it's rooted in this idea of the Fichtean dialectic. The easiest way to think about it is this. The self, when it's confronted with this terrifying void of meaninglessness, it builds a wall to protect itself. Well, the knight and the priest, they're just two different bricks in the very same wall. So, to confront one is to confront the other, and ultimately it's a way to confront the self that they both represent. Okay, so this is where our catalyst, the jester, steps onto the stage. And believe me, he's not coming with a joke. He's coming with a profound, game-changing intervention. The jester looks at their whole mutual delusion thing, and he knows you can't break it from the inside. It needs something new, a bridge, to disrupt the whole pattern. And his tool for this job is something small, but wow, is it powerful. He gives the knight this, the violet coin. Now, this isn't some magic charm with all the answers. It's described as an uncanny mirror. Its whole purpose is to take their shared, really sophisticated doubt, their certainty that nothing matters, and refract it, bend it, like light through a prism, to show them a whole new spectrum of possibilities they couldn't even imagine before. And just look at the design. It physically ties them together. You've got the knight on one side, the priest on the other, two halves of one whole. The coin itself is supposed to be a physical ember voice, something that encourages a warm, honest confession, instead of the cold, formal pronouncements they're so used to. And this is the absolute core of it. This doubled thing forces the knight to realize that his whole quest for a meaningful act can't be done alone. Meaning isn't found in solitude. It's forged in that tough, honest conversation with someone else who's just as lost as you are. It proves his struggle isn't some unique burden he has to carry by himself. Which brings us to the where, the place where this reckoning is going to happen. See, the jester doesn't just hand over the coin. He gives the knight a destination, a very specific and very, very important place. 6 by 4. That's it. Those are the dimensions of the high priest's own room. A room where, for 6 long years, he's been too scared to write the truth on a blank piece of parchment. We're not talking about some grand cathedral here. This is a claustrophobic, intensely personal space. There's no room for a performance. This tiny room is actually given a name, the cell and the candle flame. And the meeting that's about to happen is called the third dance. So this isn't just a chat. It's a fated, almost ritualistic encounter that's designed to force a breakthrough. The whole point of this tiny space is to strip everything away. Out in the world, they're defined by their failures, by the roles they can't pretend to play anymore. But in here, in the cell, those public identities are worthless. The body itself becomes the meeting place where the human and the holy might, just might, finally connect. This slide just contrasts the two modes of being so well. The void register, that's the language of their public lives, cold, formal, totally empty. But the self forces them into the ember voice, that warm human register of shared doubt and real connection. Here, the knight is challenged to spend something real, to finally engage with the priest's unanswered questions, face to face. And so, the stage is set for the final act of this incredible journey. But there's one more witness to this whole arrangement that we need to talk about. High up on the cathedral, a gargoyle, an ancient collaborator of the jesters, is watching. This creature has the patience of centuries, and when it sees the knight on this path, it offers a single rare word: further. It's a confirmation. It's saying, yes, this is the right path, and it's naming the knight as another instrument who has to go deeper into this confrontation. And this is where the entire story just pivots on this amazing idea. We always think of revelation as, climbing a mountain, a journey up towards the heavens. But what if that's completely wrong? What if real understanding is only found by going down? This is what's called the inverted journey. Step 1 is to descend, to actually acknowledge failure. The next step? To face the blight of revelation, this painful kind of clarity where your armor offers zero protection from the truth you see in every face. And the final realization is that the spirit is the asking. It's a creature that insists on meaning, not a destination that gives it to you. The meaning is in the search itself. And through this shared reckoning, in that tiny cell, the most terrifying thing for both the knight and the priest, that deep, echoing silence from above, it starts to mean something completely different. That silence, it's no longer an absence, not a void to be afraid of. It becomes an invitation. It's an open space where, without divine answers, human beings have the chance, and maybe even the responsibility, to find a true thing for themselves, together. So as the knight stands there, at the threshold, the jester's bells ring out. But not with mockery. They ring like a verdict. The violet coin in his gauntlet is a heavy, real weight, confirming his path. And above it all, the great star shines. Not as a judge, but as this unwavering, unconditional light for every single person on this difficult road. And that leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This whole story suggests the key wasn't in some lonely quest, but in a shared struggle. It's a reminder that sometimes the only way to unlock our own hidden truth is to have the courage to face the person who's holding the other side of our coin.